What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about B3 base token today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, okay? Looking at this thing on a 1 hour basis, because it's such a new chart, I think the 1 hour might help us out the most. You have seen some pretty damn low prices. In fact, let's start off at the 4 hour just to see where we are relative to this overall thing's history. So you did rip. You ripped as soon as you came out on Coinbase, and you've had a very controlled, immaculate dump to the downside, rather methodical, right? It seems like it's lasted a long time, but again, man, that was back, it was like 2 weeks ago was this high, right? So it hasn't been that long at all. You've dropped 70% in that time. And there's a lot of cryptos that dropped this amount over this amount of time, right? So this isn't a bad thing. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but this thing is not dead. Absolutely anybody who made the mistake and bought the absolute high, you will not only see your money return, but it will excel past wherever you bought, right? Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but at some point there's going to be a time in this cycle where that price at about just below 2 cents or even at 2 cents will seem like an ideal buying opportunity. It doesn't seem like it right now, down here at about half a cent, but again, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but if you bought here or you bought here, you bought high, do not sell low. It's okay to buy high. It's not okay to buy high and sell low, okay? It's okay to buy high and sell higher. It's okay to do that, but it's not okay to buy high and sell low. You're losing money. Not financial advice, but you shouldn't do that. You're in the area now, right? We can identify the zone from a 4 hour closing high to a 4 hour closing low. You're in this consolidation, this very small consolidation phase now. Let's look at it on a 1 hour time frame, okay? 1 hour time frame suggests you are in a downtrend in the RSI. I think it's very obvious, right? Lower highs, lower lows, yes. A little bit of a rounding bottom here, but the oversold zone, you can't really go, too low. It's really hard to get below the 20, so it makes sense that you're kind of shaved in this direction here. Little blemishes outside, but it does appear to me that you're not necessarily ready to go up yet. I will say, generally, rejecting the 50 and finding support on the 40 is a good thing, but you've done that a handful of times and it didn't merit anything, so I'm not going to expect it here. I think what you're going to do is have a date with destiny back to the oversold zone, find a higher low, get a lower low in your price, and convert it into a bullish divergence kind of format here. I would think on a 1 hour basis, I'm not saying you go below this low, but if you do go below 0.005846, if you go below there, you likely will go somewhere between that number and 0.005354. I don't think you go below 0.005354. If you do go below there, it'll be by insignificant amounts, right? It'll be very, very insignificant amounts. You're going to find support in this area if you go below this line. But if you go below that line, you don't have to go all the way down there. You can find support right here. You can find support anywhere in this zone. That's the tricky part here. So, however, I don't know. Again, I don't know if you go below this line. I just wanted to talk about what happens if you do. I do believe that you will go below this line. I think that we will go below 0.006 again. We will have a 1 hour close below there. And at that point, I think it's going to be a buying signal because you will have bullish divergence at the end of a long 1 hour downtrend, basically your whole life, and while you're in the oversold zone. It's going to be time to move up. So once you see prices below 0.006, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but that'll probably be the most ideal buying opportunity for B3. Certainly not an ideal selling opportunity. And we know it's going lower because you moved up here from this low. You found resistance right at your prior areas of support. Still finding resistance there on this hour. You're going lower. Does that mean you're going lower than this price? Doesn't necessarily mean that, no. But you could. You could. It's something you should prepare for. I actually do suspect that could be your low and you don't go lower. But I very much do suspect you'll go lower than this. This is a bit of a tight call to find your next low, your higher low, somewhere in between here with a specific mention of a 1 hour close that's below 0.0059, basically 0.006. If you go lower than this, again, the target area is between 0.005846 and 0.005354. If you were to go below that low there, how low would you go? I would assume from a low to a high here, you would go to about 0.00568 to 0.00547. That's what I would think is what you do. You probably don't actually even hit this white line, but if you do, again, a little bit below, that's okay as well. But a little bit lower from here. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Buy whenever you want. It's probably, I mean, relatively speaking, you're at a great time to buy. You're down like 70% right now, or at least over 65% from your all-time high. Definitely a good time to buy. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I think if you're patient, I think if you wait maybe to the rest of this day, you have your eyes on the charts like a hawk, you might be able to snag a good price. Now, if you don't want to miss the next boat up, which the next boat up, by the way, is going to take us to new all-time highs. That's going to result in a move that's over a 3x from here, right? then there's nothing wrong with getting in here, right? You can not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but there's nothing wrong with getting into these prices. I don't think. I would give it a total. I would definitely give it a green light here. The minimum target from here, the minimum target, which I'm fully expecting you will hit, is a 4.2x. You could absolutely go all the way up to about 4.1 cents. That's a 6.4x. And if you continue past that, right? And I actually suspect, I have a suspicion, we'll see. I have a suspicion that you will either stop at 4.1 cents or 5.6 to 6.5 cents, somewhere in this range. That will promote an over like 6.5x move to potentially a 10x move by the time this thing finds its next relative high, which I think will be sometime in the month of March. Time will tell. We'll see how it goes, and I definitely think it goes past that as well. But just a little point of reference as to why I'm bullish, at least down here for this thing. So if we're looking at it again, maybe on a 15-minute time frame now instead of a 1-hour time frame, just to confirm what we're seeing here. We're getting oversold. You're not getting overbought. It looks disgusting. You're going lower. Looking at the 1-hour time frame, downtrend, finding resistance at the prior areas of resistance, rejecting the 50, finding support at the 40, but doing nothing with it, rejecting prior areas of support as resistance. You're going lower. 4-hour time frame, you don't have bullish divergence, but if this 4-hour time frame on a 2-hour basis can close below this level here at about 0.006149, if you can close below there on a 4-hour basis, you will have bullish divergence on the 4-hour, and that's something to build from. Downtrend here, downtrends normally end in the oversold zone for the RSI, and you're there already. So I think in a time perspective, you're very, very near your low, okay? From a price perspective as well, you're very near it, but you still, even if from here, if you were to go down, I mean, you could go down 10%, no problem. You could probably even go down like 15%, no problem. So from a price perspective, not as near, but still very near in the grand scope of things. When you move up, I expect that your immediate move, let's say you bought here at about 6.26 cents, I would expect your immediate move takes you up to about 0.008 or 0.0076, somewhere in that area. That'll be like an immediate 20 to 30% drop, 20 to 30% pump, something like that. You could go higher, but what I'm looking for at this bottom right now, at least what it looks like to be set up for, is some kind of left shoulder here, a head down here, and then you'll come up and you'll form a little right shoulder. That'll give you a nice bullish kind of configuration to break out of this, right? And maybe what you do is you even break out higher, and then you've got a left shoulder over here, and then you've got this right shoulder. Like it could turn an inverse head and shoulders pattern here on a small scale could turn into a larger inverse head and shoulders pattern, right? It's something like that. And when you have that inverse head and shoulders pattern on a large scale based off of your basic all-time history, historical references here, that could promote a very significant pump whenever it is time to break out of it. The area to watch, to get excited for, to see new all-time highs, I think will be once you get above about 1 cent. Once you get about 1.06 cent, that's whenever it's time to start getting excited. Until then, it's just, consolidation time. If we move up, don't buy the highs, wait for it to pull back, buy the lows. Don't buy the highs, buy the lows. Try to buy those. If it gets away from you and you want to get in on this thing, I would say 1 cent is kind of your last call ticket, because once we get above there, it's time to throw the hammer down or back away and look for other projects, because this thing's going to rip in a very short amount of time. But we're at 0.006248 cents right now. A little bit lower to go. Finding support soon. Great opportunity to buy. Really great opportunity to buy. This is where I would buy if I was buying. Hit the like button, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one. None of this is financial advice. Thank you all for being here. Bye-bye.